I got mail. I did get mail. I got this from one of my my subs. That's what those of us in the business call subscribers. People who. This is from Martin, old foundry man down in Australia, of all places. He sent me something. I don't know what it is. I know he's been watching what I'm doing, and I know he thinks I need some help. So let's open this thing up and see what we got. This is how bad it's gotten. I have glasses everywhere. Every 4 or 5 feet I have glasses, so I can find them. Let me find the opening thing here. Ay, ay, ay. I gotta find something to cut with now. I'll be back. Okay, we got it cut. I haven't looked at it yet. We're all gonna find out together. More tape. I'll be back. Let's see. Let's see if we got it now. Ooh. You know what that is, don't you? That's a sprue. Oh, man. Nicely machined. Very nice. Very cool. So, thank you, Martin. We'll put this to good use here. In fact, we'll put it to use in just a few minutes. I have been told multiple times, multiple people, that I need a proper ramming tool for ramming the sand in my flask. And one of the things I've been just using is a stick that I ram in there, and it's just got a flat edge on it. And I heard at one point, I read or something, that just stratifies the sand and makes it layers, and doesn't bind well. And you need to have a pointed end on it. Well, this is a pointed end. It's actually kind of rounded. It will be more rounded when it's sanded. That we're going to do. So I modeled this and I printed this up on my printer. And I want to just show you this before I glue it up. I want to show you what I did here. So these are the two parts. And I went ahead and did a channel in this one and a pin on this side, so that when I'm going to glue them together, but that gives me a way to get them together and get them oriented properly. So when I glue that, I can glue that right up. The other thing I did is I printed in alignment holes. Everybody's telling me, and I know, everybody's telling me I need to use alignment pins. So I put in alignment pins in both halves, or both sides. So this will get glued up with a Loctite and a Loctite gel. We'll glue that up together. I will then put it together. This one's already been glued up, you can see. We'll go ahead and put it together. And I will, once I get it, the two halves put together, I can sand the whole thing as one. I'm going to prime it as well, and so we get it all good and smooth, and really nice and smooth. Make sure that when I go to pull, one half out of the mold, out of the cope or the drag, that boom, it's just going to come right out of there. So that's what we're going to do first. We're going to get these things all sanded up, smooth. We're going to paint them, and I'm going to sand them again. Well, we're back, and through the magic of video, I have this thing painted and sanded. It's pretty smooth. Now, I used, they're not paying me for this, I should cover their name up, right? Automotive Primer Filler. Fills deep, scratches, and sands easily. Well, 3D print is all about deep scratches. So now you can probably see, let me bring this up close. You still see lines in here from the 3D print. Now I don't think that that's going to be a problem through like here. It's pretty smooth, and this whole thing is essentially draft, so I'm hoping it'll just come out of there We have, to show it, I've got the alignment pins that I printed, and they sit down in here and hold it up. So let's get it over to the sand and get it, let's get it rammed up. Now I'm going to put this guy in here like so, because I'm going to have a pretty big feeder on here. I'm hoping that'll be enough room. Yeah. Anyway, let's get this thing going. We'll start with a little parting dust. This is talc. Lots of it. Lots of it. I realize there's a lot of people out here who think you're insane. You don't need to do all this work for your gating, but I think it's probably the right thing to do. So we're going to put our feeder right about here, which is going to be right on the hairy edge of my flask, but it is what it is. And then, Martin, I lost it. I lost it. There it is. I see it. My sprue former. Golly, wouldn't that have been horrible? Get this thing shipped all the way from Australia only to find out I lose it. We're going to put that over here, right about here, and our runner is going to end up coming across the outside edge of the feeder. And because I'm going to take the feeder's actually going down inside here some, and we're going to take the runner off the sprue kind of to the side, so it comes in here and it'll actually end up swirling just to help slow it down some more before we put a gate in. The gate's going to be pretty large too. You know, I got a fairly large feeder because I got a large part here. I want to make sure I get plenty of hot aluminum into the part as it's shrinking. I want to be able to have a big reservoir for that. I think this is going to be big enough. This is larger diameter than the fattest end here, so I'm hoping I'm okay. Well, I don't know how much of that you missed. I thought I turned my camera on, and I realized I turned my camera off after it was too late. So I've cut my basin in here next to the sprue. There is the ridge for the basin is about probably 15-ish, maybe closer to 17-ish, I don't know, millimeters down from the top of the sprue. So it's down here fairly low. And the intent is here to fill the basin, let it run into the sprue, keep the basin full so the sprue always stays full and you're not sucking air down in there. So that's why the ridge is down where it is. It's down low. The other thing that we're thinking about here is I've tried to make this as smooth as possible, so it's kind of coming over this way. It's not going to come boom and straight down. Again, just to try to make it smooth, ease the transition for the metal as it goes over the top. So that's what we're doing. Now we're going to try to take this feeder out of here. And I think it's going to come out. There we go. And there's not a lot I'm going to do on the top here. I'll just kind of get rid of this loose sand, I guess. Let's just pray this all comes up apart and doesn't have a problem. All right, good deal. So, first things first. We're going to get this out of here. And remember I said I'm going to cut the feeder is going to come down into the into the drag because I want to have plenty of volume coming into this part, which is a pretty good sized part, right? I mean, I think it's 45 millimeters square. So it's pretty good size. So we're going to bring this thing down. And then I'm actually going to kind of dome, convex, concave, concave the bottom of it. A little bit. Okay, that's probably pretty good there. And now we need to cut in I'm going to cut, I'm afraid of the gate. I'm afraid of the gate for some reason. Let's go ahead and cut this runner. The runner's going to come across into the side of the feeder. And now normally I've been trying to cut my runner below the feeder, and then my gate will be up above that, right? So they're kind of like this mechanism. But because I've come down with this feeder, I can't do that. So I'm going to just bring it in on the side, and we're going to hope that it'll just swirl around in there. We'll do that. All right. Gate. The gate needs to come pretty wide here because I want it, again, I don't even want this thing to think about freezing up on me. So we're going to take the gate kind of out like that. Bring it out sort of tangential to the right word I want to use there? Anyway, come out to the edge of the feeder tube. All right, so we're going to do that. And this is going to come down quite a ways. It's going to come way down into the part. All right. I'm going to clean all this up in a minute. So let's go ahead. This guy is the same way. He's not going to have to go. I'm not going to go quite as deep with him though. But yeah, normally we would put our gate all up here in the cope, but this time we're going to put most of the gate actually in the drag. I think I need to steal some more spoons from my wife and cut them up. Give me a nice square cutting tool here. All right. All right. Let's see if we can't clean some of this stuff out of here. Okay, I think I'm pretty happy with that one. This part looks like it wants to come out of here. Well, I got a good, I got a lousy edge, but I got a great pattern of my logo. I cannot win. You know, here's the problem, and I'll tell you exactly what the problem was with this part. I didn't put any draft on that part, so it's hard for it to come out. There's square sides, and there's nothing to release, so it's dragging out the whole way it comes out. It's dragging. Man, that logo looks perfect. Okay, that's good. I got to get this one out now. I conveniently didn't drill any holes for me to drive a screw in there, so we're just going to have to Fingers crossed. Here we go. See if we can use these pins to pull it out with. Wow. Well, again, the logo came out clean. The rest of it looks awful. Ah! Boy. It'll be a hot time on the grinding wheel tonight. Trying to get that smoothed out, cleaned up. Okay. I think we're good. We're gonna try to get loose sand out of here if I can. Practice close, and then we'll open it up again. We dropped any more sand. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. So we're gonna melt us some aluminum, and we're gonna do a pour. Alrighty, I melted a lot of aluminum. A lot of aluminum. I didn't want it to. I didn't want to run out. So we're just gonna scoop the dross. There's hardly any dross on this. I love melting ingots. They're so much better than melting junk. Even if my ingots are made out of junk. Come on. All right, we're gonna call that good. All right, here we go. Camera running. Yes, camera is running. We're going to pour into my keep pouring, keep pouring. Oh man. Bad news, guys, bad news. So I'm not sure what happened there, but it quit pouring down the sprue and started coming back out the top. I don't know. I've still got molten metal in the riser. That's a good thing. Everything's in there. I'm hoping I'm full. Molten metal in the riser. Hopefully got molten metal throughout the part. What we can do now is wait. This is all, I don't know what happened. You know, it's like Rosanna Dana once said, if it's not one thing, it's another. We'll let her cool down and we'll see what we got. As always, I have waited long enough. I'm so impatient. I can't take it. I have to see what happened here. I dug out some of the sand just to help try to cool. We're gonna just get this out of the way. I need something to grab hold of that stuff with. See if I can't get it by this basin. There's a sprue. Ooh. Yeah, man, it's hardly attached, so. Maybe we can grab it by the sprue. Yeah. Well, I think that worked. I think that worked, and it worked really well. I have the part. I have a logo. I don't think I have any shrinkage. I don't see any dents or anything, any shrinkage in the part. So let's, I see every stinking line in the plastic though. When I get this cooled off, we'll get it, cooled off and cleaned up and take a closer look at it. See how things ended up looking in there. Okay, here it is. I got it out of the mold, or yeah, out of the sand, and the basin, which was like right here, was barely attached. I mean, really thin thing. I've got a lot of interesting. The top of the sprue is kind of blackened. I'm not sure what happened there. So I went ahead and watched the raw footage from when I poured. And I don't normally do that, but anyway, I wanted to go back to see what happened, and I think let me put it up. Let me stand here, and we'll put it up over there. I think what happened is you watch the video. If you could keep an eye on that. As I'm pouring, I pour it in fairly good at the beginning. The basin fills up and it starts running over the sprue. All goodness. And then I think what happened, you hear me say something to the effect of, keep pouring, keep pouring. Well, I didn't keep pouring, and I think that this thing hardened, it cooled, it froze up on top. And then I tried to keep pouring. I tried to increase my pour rate again, and it wasn't able to get down in here. And so what happened is we see it kind of go up. It fills up the basin and kind of comes over the back side of the sprue. So anyway, that's I think what happened here. Now, good news is everything still worked, even though I screwed it up. And here, let me just say this while we can. Lessons learned, right? Lessons learned on casting. First thing, so this area if you look from here down, here down, everything looks really pretty darn good. I mean, it's pretty clean. There's virtually no part line. I haven't done any kind of grinding or sanding on this thing at all. It's pretty clean. Then you get back down to this area where the square block is, and you see where I had trouble getting it out. Now the reason I had trouble getting it out is there's zero draft on this part here. This part came out of the sand, had to come straight up out of the sand, and as a result I had problems with the mold, the sand holding together and holding its shape, and it kind of broke, and I was trying to push it down with my fingers and everything, and that's what you see, this kind of stuff right here. You see this just bad edges around things. It just not good, because the sand fell apart because I didn't put any draft on. So I guess the lesson for me on that was always put draft on stuff. So let me go ahead and get this thing. I'm going to cut off the gate here. I think all of this worked like it was supposed to. I mean, sprue came down. It came across through the runner, came into the side. I believe that all of this helped slow the metal down, filled the feeder up. Had a fairly large gate, maybe not as big as I was supposed to. I think I was supposed to have a little bit bigger gate, but it worked. And then we were able to fill. I put a straight edge across the edges of this square because this was where I was most concerned about getting shrinkage and getting it to come, kind of concave on me. They're pretty straight, pretty happy. Detail on the logo came out great. So that I think was a result of a couple of things. I went with a shallower draft. I went with a shallower, I guess it's called debossing, as opposed to embossing, debossing. That's only like a millimeter deep, pretty shallow, and I put 10% draft on the edges. I'm not sure I really got 10% because of the shallowness and because of the printer and all that. The other thing I did is I used that different paint. So I used the body filler primer paint, and I think that filled in and gave me a smoother surface. It's interesting to me that, I don't know if you can see the detail on that, but that's detail off of the plastic. The lines, you can still see them. And I'm always fascinated how much detail shows up in that sand. Really pretty amazing how much detail. So let me cut this thing up, polish it up. I'll come back and say goodbye. It's always parting is such sweet sorrow, you know? All right, there it is, completed. It works, it looks great. Let me show you what it does. Some people are asking, what do you use this thing for? So this is the mess that was. The sand that I used to cast the thing in. Anyway, when you have a pattern in there, you use the wedged end here to pack it in, and it will help. You saw what it was doing. It was spreading the sand out. So it gives you a nice pack, and it gives you the ability to sort of combine layers as well. Once it's all packed, you can use the flat end and smooth things out. So that's what these things are used for. Let me fix you up again here. All right, so it's embarrassing, but I'm going to say it anyway, all right? I'm going to say it. I understand what this looks like. I understand. I know. I'm not completely oblivious. That said, any comments I get that refer to portions of the male anatomy or insertions or anything like that, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to delete them. So you can think you can do whatever. You don't waste your time commenting. I'm just going to delete them right away. Maybe I should have made it differently, but that's what I made. And I didn't think about it until after the fact. So now, what are we going to do here to close this thing out? I want to talk about this thing and the guy who sent it to me. This is from Martin over at Old Foundry Man. Martin is a professional. He gets paid. It makes him a professional foundryman. He does this for a living. He understands what he's doing. And Martin has kept up on, from my understanding, he has kept up on the latest developments in how to do casting and how to do pours and regulate the metal going through and all. And Martin has been a huge, huge help to me. So if you guys everybody comments and they say, oh, you should go watch this guy or watch that guy. I watch them. But I'm telling you that I get most of my information from Martin over to Old Foundry Man. Now, that said, don't blame him for anything you see here. All right, because he knows what he's doing, and he has given me great advice. Whether I implement it correctly, like when I use this, that wasn't his fault. That was me being an idiot. So don't blame him for anything you see here. I'm going to go ahead and link a couple of things here. First, I'm going to link Martin's channel right there. You should go look at it. If you haven't looked at it, go look at it. Subscribe to his stuff. He does great, great work. I'm also going to link the very first video I did when I really started this channel in all seriousness. A knife that I made for my son. I forged it on my foundry. And finally, we're going to do the subscribe button. You know you want to hit it. Click that subscribe button. You have a great day.